Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. My name is Honorine, and today I'm with Noor Mustafa from Pakistan, who is pursuing a PhD in international and multicultural education, and she's also a Fulbright grant recipient. Amber, welcome to Coffee and Conversation, and thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Honorine, and thank you. It's an honor to be here in this interview. I've watched so many of your interviews, and I'm really, happy to be here. Thank you.
Great. So then you know the drill, and you know that the first question is about introducing yourself.
I'm like you said, I'm from Pakistan. I came in January 2021, and prior to this, for about 18 years, I was working with the private education sector in Pakistan, private as well as the public education sector. I joined as a teacher, and then, I moved up, I became a school head, and then I was a trainer for school leaders. And then eventually I became part of the policy making team at my organization. It was a really big, multinational school system, Beacon House school system. I was also working with the British Council as a trainer. And while I was doing all of this, I also, visited different countries with my research work. And so this is my professional side. And I've been I think I'm sort of addicted to studying and learning. So I've been, my last degree, my MPhil was in 2017, and now I'm here doing my PhD. So on a more personal front, I have two sons, and my eldest son is in his third year of undergraduate. He's studying at NYU Abu Dhabi. And my second one, he's almost 18, and he's looking for admissions this year. So, fingers crossed, praying hard for his, acceptance at a good university. So both of them are away from me. My husband's here with me. And at present, this is, we just miss them a lot. I love reading books, and I love dancing. I love doing nothing, which has also become a luxury actually now. And swimming. So those are the things. And yes, traveling and making new friends, which I have been able to do a lot. And I'm really, really happy and here I have made so many friends from all over the world, and it's an absolute treat.
What a life you've already had and everything you've accomplished. It's really amazing. And my first question the first question that comes to my mind is, why did you decide to go back to school and to pursue a PhD in America when it sounds like you did everything else in Pakistan?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. When I joined teaching, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but it's not exactly how I had planned it. I was a good student. So, in Pakistan, when you're a good student, then people, probably think that you'll probably become a doctor maybe, or an engineer, some one of those professions, and teacher is not exactly the profession of choice. But when I did join teaching as a teacher, I was really, really excited. I knew this is my calling. And so I wanted to do my best. So when I got married, and I want to say this, before I move to my married life, that I was very lucky that my parents, we were three sisters, no brothers, and we were very lucky that our parents really, really supported us and wanted us to, do our best. And, so they took us for taekwondo and swimming and whatnot. They were both working, but they spent their afternoons and their days just, giving us those opportunities. So I think that was the first, the foundation was, there for learning and for growing and not just being complacent with yourself. So when I became a teacher, after I got married, I got a chance to move to, the rural areas of Pakistan, and to see how, people live in poverty and illiteracy, how that is affecting their lives. And I thought that, it's not just my profession. I don't want to be a teacher just to earn money for myself, but I want to give back. I want to do something to help these people, make them realize that there is a better life if they can, study and, they can try and improve themselves. And so while I was working, I kept, getting involved in different types of professional development opportunities. Even when I was in the classroom, I wanted to do my best, so I wanted not just to spend a day with the students, but make a difference in their lives. That just kept me going, I guess. And so then after I had completed my MPhil, I wanted to become part of the Fulbright, fraternity and Fulbright community, because I understand that, you need to go out in the world and try to learn from different setups, different frameworks, different systems. So then you can try and make something which works for your, country, your context. And that is exactly what my program is. International and multicultural education exposes me to so many different ways of, education and education frameworks. And I hope that I can go back and, make a program which is more contextualized and work with maybe the government, and, try to make a bigger impact. That's the plan. That's why I thought it's better that I come out of the country and see what's happening, outside as well.
Well, that's fascinating. So basically your PhD program is all about learning from different like educational system, and then your goal is to apply that to like a school or even to education in general in Pakistan.
Yes, yeah, that's the plan. I want to go back and have like a bigger, work with more people and try to impact the strategy making processes there, so that, it's not just one classroom, one group of people, but, more of an impact, more of a national level impact, hopefully.
Wow. So your idea is not to go back to school and maybe be a director and have an amazing program, an amazing school, because you've learned so much in America. Your goal is more to work maybe for, I don't know how it works in Pakistan, but I know like in France, the way it works is like there is the Ministry of Education, and that's where all the policies, happen. Is that more what you have in mind, working for the government in education?
Yeah, working for the government or with the government. I could also have like my own thing, because that's what I'm thinking, to have my own, setup. I could even, another thing that I want to work with is like a lab school, so have my strategies, work with the lab school, try them out, and then, work as a consultant perhaps with the federal, stakeholders. So that's what I'm, planning to do. So when I just, what I think when you work for somebody, you become sort of restricted, so you have to sort of follow their plan, their vision. I want to work with somebody so I can, work with them as partners and contribute to their way of working and not just be directed by them.
Oh, that's great. And how would you say your experience in America has changed your view on education so far?
I think that, what I've really learned a lot from the different education systems in the world, and how to different ways of comparing them, different ways of defining quality, how everything, how policy borrowing should be contextualized. It should not be just, picking from somewhere and trying to fit it in your mold, because we're all so different. And so I think my teachers here have done an amazing job of giving me a multi, faceted perspective on education. So, it's not like, I don't think I have a very narrow, way of looking at education now. I can look at it from different perspectives, different angles, perspectives of different stakeholders. And so I think that is what, my discussions and discourse here have done for me.
What would you say was the toughest when you moved to the US? Maybe, cultural shock or anything related to, a new culture?
Yeah, so this part of the world is very different from, Pakistan, and generally there's so many things that are different, and it's when you don't have those things is when you realize. Like, for example, I'll give you a very small example. Yesterday, I went to my classroom. I had a class yesterday, and how our desks, they have this place to keep your laptop and everything, fixed to the chair. So yesterday I went and I sat down. It seemed really weird. I didn't know how to manage myself. I realized it's for somebody who works with their left hand, So it's when things change, you realize that, things that you were taking for granted, you had become so accustomed to them. When I came here, I wasn't very lucky because there was the COVID lockdown, so I couldn't really interact with people. So I had to adjust, but I had to do it in isolation. So the first thing was that, I was alone. I was here with my husband and, but we were just so suddenly hit by this isolation, we didn't know a lot of Pakistani people here. And so those kind of things. Then for example, miles and kilometers, we use kilometers, here you use miles. I don't know how hot or cold I'm feeling because I have to think in the Celsius, format. Here, everything is in Fahrenheit. So little things which you have to, so you might know the language of a place, but to understand the connotations of different words, to understand the body language, the culture, those things are just so different, so you have to get accustomed to all of that. I went to Costco to get my membership card. So my name is Noor, right? So Noor. In Pakistan, we would spell it as Noor. So when I said the same thing to the lady there, she made my card and it said NWR, so little things, so they seem so little, but when you have to adjust to a new place, I think they become really, and also in many ways, even now I struggle with what I can say and what I cannot say, because the culture here is quite different. How much I can ask, what kind of questions are acceptable. When will people think that I'm trying to, become too, I'm getting into their private space. So those kind of things I still struggle with. I still have to think before asking a question. And that was also, I think, a major thing when I came. Here, people, I feel like to stay, like as individuals or have their own private life. So, that kind of, so that was also a kind of isolation that we felt, because we didn't have family there. We meet people a lot, and there community is very close there in Pakistan. So here, when you are in a new place, you don't know how much you can interact and how much you can ask. So yeah, that was, I think, difficult. But other than that, if I think that, I was somebody who came from a developing country, from a Muslim country, I did not experience any kind of racism or any kind of, discrimination. That I never felt. In fact, the people here, they were very friendly, very helpful, very cooperative, and that was a big plus. So
how do you see yourself in 5 years from today?
That's a very interesting question, because 5 years is exactly what I have in the US. According to the Fulbright program, I have to complete my PhD in 5 years and I have to go back. So I guess I hope that I would have completed my PhD in the next 5 years. And I would hopefully be in Pakistan working with a group of people from all over the world who will be part of my consultancy, and we will be providing, services to organizations globally, and also impacting the education system in Pakistan. So I hope that I'll be able to do that. But other than that, my husband and I, we have this philanthropic organization that we established in Pakistan. At present, all we are doing is providing clean drinking water, but we want to people in a village in Pakistan. But we want to expand that and include education when I go back. So, I hope that front will also become more, it will flourish and evolve. So I really hope that I will be able to work on that too.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for this amazing interview. It was so great to hear about, your experience here and your research. It was fascinating. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. You're an absolutely wonderful interviewer.
Oh, thank you.